Hey everyone, Maureen here. I just thought I'd drop in for a quick conversation, shall we say. It struck me this morning as I was being pushed and bantered by my accountant that they felt they had more control over me than I did. And that's not true. But moreover, I also realized that following a post that somebody else had put up, that there may be a perception when you get a diagnosis of cancer or another serious illness, that you lose who you are, that you don't have control over the situation, and you lose a sense of self. So here's my thoughts on this. Well, firstly, the accountant, yeah, has nothing to do with who I am and what I am and how I show up in the world. He has a job to do, and he has a set of priorities, deadlines that he'd like me to conform to. And for those of you that actually know me, I'm not up for confirming to very much, but I do have to do the accountancy stuff, so maybe I'll have to give in on that one. But going back to the sense of identity and perhaps lack of identity when you have a diagnosis. So it's very easy, very, very easy to get lost in the system. When you're going through the process of being diagnosed, you're then put onto somebody's list, whether it's a consultant, a surgeon, or whoever, and you've then got a named person that looks after you. But moreover, there's almost a sense of you're just the next one in line, the next person to show up in their office on that particular day. And you can almost go into what you might call la la land about, well, this is just happening to me. I have no control over this. I have no say in the matter. And that's not true either. It's about keeping hold of who you are, understanding who you are, not just on the physical external, but who you are on the inside. I'm not sure about you, but I know that in those quiet moments in the middle of the night, there's that still small voice inside of you that you tap into, that I tap into. And it's that piece of you, that essence of who you really are, that is who is at play here. And when you're able to tap into that place more often, then you have better connection with who you really are. You don't lose self. There is nothing broken, nothing ever to be fixed. And moreover, you're always as perfect as you were when you arrived on the planet. Now, that might be a little difficult to take if you've been diagnosed with a very serious condition, but you are. I was reminded of this at the end of May 2013 when my father was passing away. And we were left in the room together on our own. He couldn't speak. It was a challenging time, let's say. He couldn't speak. And for a moment, and it must have only been a moment, I stared into his eyes. And for a second, there was nothing wrong with him. He was perfect. The way he had arrived on the planet, nothing wrong. The external body was crumbling, sure, there's no question. But the inner part of him was as perfect as when he arrived. The image in his eyes was just saying, I'm just a little boy that's lost. And he was. And that's how I'd like to remember him and anybody else that finds themselves in that position. you're just a little bit lost, finding your way home. And to find your way home is as simple as staring in the mirror. Because it's not about what's outside of you that can impact you. It's only ever internal. Only ever internal. So as you sit in the consultant's office, the surgeon's office, or talking to your cancer nurse, remember that you are in control of this. You can't impact how much surgery, how much treatment you're going to have. But you can impact how much you take control of it, how much you're part of the equation, almost despite the situation, as opposed to because of the situation. So when I was diagnosed, I think I recounted this story several times now, the consultant was pussyfooting around giving me the diagnosis. Now, clearly, they have no idea who's going to turn up in their office from day to day, from minute to minute. So they kind of edge on the side of caution, and they try and get across the message that they're trying to give you in as gentle and as calm a way as possible. But this was getting right up my nose, to be quite blunt. So I stopped the conversation. I put my hands up and I went, can we just stop this here? You clearly need to give me some information, a diagnosis or something. Can you just give it to me straight? So I wasn't going to impact what he was going to say, just how it was delivered. So I think the more that you have an understanding about how you operate best, an understanding as to how you receive information, how you accept information, the better off you'll be. So it's not about being hard-nosed or demanding or officious or whatever word you want to use around it. It's about taking control back that seems fit and best and right for you in the moment. So for me in that moment, the best thing for me was to have all the information, or as much as the information as they could give me, and then I could absorb it. Then I could assimilate it. Then I could decide how best to move forward from that point, that place. And the same thing occurs at every point on your journey through cancer or through any other serious illness. You have a choice, moment to moment to moment. You can either decide to give in, just be another number, and get swept up in the whole melee of the NHS system or whichever other medical system that you're connected to. Or you can take some level of control and some level of ownership. It's your body after all, not mine, not theirs, yours, your choice. So I hope that makes some level of sense to you, some level of understanding. So if it does, I'd be delighted to speak to you. If anybody wants to set up a conversation, you can do so by connecting to my calendar directly at maureenyorkconversation.com, or you can directly send me an email to maureen@maureenyork.com, and I'd be delighted to speak to you. So those are my thoughts for today about not losing your sense of identity, your sense of self, keeping ownership of who you are, no matter the circumstance, no matter the situation. Take ownership. It's your body. I'll leave you there. Love to all. Bye for now.